Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Bhadran Karne Vishnuyam Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swastina Indra Vruddhashravaha Swastinah Pusha Vishvavedaha Swastinastarkshyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Parikshalokan karmachitan Brahmano nirvedamayat Nastya kritah kritena Tadvijnanartham Sagurumeva bhigachet Samitpanihi Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedam ayat. Say brahmanaha, a person possessing a certain contemplative disposition of mind. Lord Krishna describes a brahmana as a one possessed of shamaha, tranquility of the mind, meaning whose mind is free from conflicts. Damaha, one who has control over himself in terms of all the activities. So one who has control over the thoughts or mind, shouldn't say thought, mind. One who has control over his activities. And then Kshamaha, one is a compassionate person. And as we said, this is a core person that each one of us is. And therefore, living intelligently means to invoke this core person. What is called life of yoga or a life of living intelligently is that in every interaction, I attempt to bring out this compassionate person within me, arjavam, straightforward, honest, transparent, astikyam, one who is trust, shraddha, in the scriptures, in Ishvara, in the teachers. So when thus our mind has essentially become like this, not perfectly, but these qualities, what we may call the divine Devi Sampat or divine qualities, when they essentially reflect from me, as the transformation takes place in our mind, our desires also change, by the way. The kind of desires that arise in the mind depend upon the disposition of mind. The mind is said to have threefold disposition: sattvic, rajas and tamas. When tamoguna is predominant, then there is dullness, darkness, all negativities, even violence, cruelty. When rajoguna, rajas is predominant, restlessness, activity, aggressiveness, ambitions, a craving for pleasures, a strong sense of inner lack or want, and therefore extrovertedness. When sattva is predominant, then there is comfort within self, peace within myself. And as I am at peace with myself, my craving or fascination for the pleasures automatically subsides because I discover that from myself. The idea of living intelligently is to discover from our own self what it is that we are seeking from outside, the happiness. So thus, living a life of values and attitudes, life of dharma or righteousness, in the words of Puja Swami, doing what is right, whether you like it or not. That requires me to overcome my impulses and temptations to take the easy path, to do what I like rather than what is right. So keeping those tendencies under control is conducive to drive away raga, dvesha, rajas and tamas and bring to manifestation sattva, which is my core personality. As sattva becomes manifest, all those qualities, like the kind, compassionate person that I am, they become evident. And then in my mind, when there was a craving for pleasures, slowly there is a transformation that then now in my mind this love for knowledge comes. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. When there is sattva or purity in mind, then there is love for knowledge. A desire for knowledge arises, it happens. So that's what this verse says. Brahmana nirvedamayat. A contemporary person develops nirvedam. It translated as vairagya. Dispassion, vairagya. Freedom from craving, put it this way. A person discovers freedom from inner lack or want or craving. Because we keep on discovering from ourselves that contentment, satisfaction. Meaning that this living the life of yoga versus the life of bhoga, shreyaha and preyaha. So when I make the right choice, choose the shreyas. What is shreyas? The happiness coming from the self. What is preyas? Happiness coming from the world, from the non-self. So when that deliberate choice is made and every time assert their choice, and thus overcome the habitual tendency of the mind to choose wrong things, being tempted, being controlled by impulses, then slowly the mind starts becoming my friend. Lord Krishna says, our own mind can be our friend, our own mind can be our enemy. By enemy means that mind does not cooperate with me. So slowly the mind becomes my friend, cooperates with me, becomes composed. So that state, when there is discovery of contentment from myself, and therefore essentially freedom from craving, because what I was seeking from outside is what I discover from myself. That's called Vairagya. This Vairagya or dispatch is not purely an intellectual affair. Viveka or discrimination is an intellectual thing where I realize, what am I seeking? To discover that or realize that what I am seeking is this lasting happiness, as we discussed in the morning. And it is not available anywhere else because what is out there is all perishable. I cannot attain what I am seeking from any kind of accomplishments there. When I put this understanding into practice, then there is a change of values. Value of contentment comes. Then value of compassion comes, value of forgiveness, value of contribution, value of being helpful. All of this comes. So Vairagya is a process of inner growth or inner maturity. Viveka means the right understanding of the realities of life. First reality is that I am seeking limitless happiness. That's the first discovery. Second discovery is that that limitless happiness cannot be attained because what is out there is all limited. And that I have to discover that limitlessness from myself. Then I live a life of all that I am tapping that happiness from myself rather than seeking from outside. Brahmana nirvedamayat, one attains nirveda means vairagya, slowly freedom from those cravings, lack, want, and inner contentment, inner comfort. So vairagya means inner comfort, freedom. Inner freedom from cravings and lack and want. That's called Vairagya. And then, as this pressure of the desires of the pleasure go down, and then as the mind becomes sattvic, there arises the desire for knowledge. This happens. When that happens, then you must know that you have really served the purpose of living life intelligently. Karma Yoga gives rise to this state when, in my mind, that arises the desire for knowledge. It's a very big transformation. Desire for pleasure slowly gives rise to desire for knowledge. When I get an insight that if what I am seeking is not out there, it must be my nature. And if it is my nature, then how come I don't feel, how come I don't experience it? Something is depriving me of that, there is some kind of an inhibiting factor. What is that? It can be ignorance. So then this person realizes that the life should be a process of attaining what is already attained. Like the story of the 10th man. He's searching for the 10th man because every time he counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, he doesn't take himself into account and thinks that the 10th man is lost. That search will only come to an end when he realizes that what I am searching is my own self. Of course, it will never occur to him because in his mind, he is very certain that the 10th man is lost. Somebody comes along and draws attention that, hey, what you are searching for is yourself. How can I be? Just count again. When he is made to see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, out there are 9 persons, but there is one person who you have not taken into account, and that's yourself. In our life also, equations never settle because we don't take into account ourselves. that perhaps what I am searching for is to be found from myself. Then the distance between what I am myself and what I am the seeker and sought, the distance is not in terms of space that I have to cover some place and go somewhere to some other world. Not in terms of time that I have to die and after death only I can get that. Not in terms of some attributes that I must become something different from what I am. What separates me from my destination is ignorance. All this insight has to come. It comes. Or maybe I come in contact with the right people or person and this is brought to my attention. Our Swami said, maybe you pick up a paperback and from there you get this insight. Or you happen to attend a class, listen to some classes and whatever, and then you see this. But the value for knowledge. Tad vijnanartham. Therefore the second line says, Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet. Tad vijnanartham. When there is vijnanam, means there is a desire for knowledge. Then what should I do if I have desire for knowledge? I must reach out for help to fulfill any kind of desire. Desire shows that I do not have what I want. That's where the desire is. To fulfill any desire, I should reach out for the help where the desire can be fulfilled. If I'm hungry, then I go to dining hall, go to a vending machine, somewhere I can get what I need. Similarly, if I have desire for knowledge, where do I go? Where I can get the knowledge? Where do I get the knowledge? Guru, that's called a guru. The guru's definition is well known. Gukarastvandakaro is a gurum eva, he must go to a guru. So what guru is explained. There are different ways of explaining the meaning of the word. This is a nirukti way of explaining, where the meaning of a word is derived from the letters. There is a way of explaining which is called the etymological meaning, meaning to trace a word from the root and what kind of prefixes and suffixes are applied and to arrive at the meaning. That would be the right way. There is another way also of deriving meaning from the letters of the word. So what Guru has two letters, Gu and Ru. What do these words letters stand for? So Gukaras Tvandakara, letter Gu stands for Andhakara, for darkness, ignorance. Gu Samvarane, some close by, nearby a word a root you can find out. Rukaras Tannivartakaha. Ru stands for that which dispels the darkness. The letter Gu stands for darkness and Ru stands for that which dispels the darkness, which is light. In this case, darkness happens to be darkness of ignorance and therefore light happens to be the light of knowledge. Andhakar nirodhitvat gururityabhidiyate. So who is the Guru? One who dispels the darkness of ignorance in the heart of the disciple by the light of knowledge. Meaning one who imparts knowledge and thereby dispels the darkness of ignorance in the heart of the disciple. Tad vijnanartham saha gurum eva abhigachet. See, if you look at the third line, tad vijnanartham saha, tad vijnanartham, tasya vijnanartham, for the knowledge of that. Knowledge of what? It was said earlier, Nasta krutah krutena. This morning we in fact stopped the akrutah krutena nasti. Akrutah means uncreated. Krutena nasti, uncreated, cannot be attained by any kind of karma or effort. Meaning that what I am seeking is uncreated. The happiness that I am seeking is uncreated happiness. What we normally experience is created happiness. When I eat ice cream, I feel happy. What's the nature of that happiness? Before ice cream, happiness was not. Now happiness is created. But what is created also is perishable, will come to an end. I have enough experience of that kind of happiness. Akrutaha. He realizes that if what I am seeking is not something perishable, I am seeking something that is everlasting. As I said in the morning, the happiness we want is 24/7. I am not satisfied by a limited happiness at a limited time, a limited place. That is the urge in my heart. To understand what I am seeking in life is a very big thing. To understand that what I am seeking is eternal, meaning uncreated, everlasting, limitless. That is the urge in my heart. To understand that also requires certain mind. And that cannot be attained because whatever I attain is going to be limited. See, to attain something I make an effort, the effort being limited, whatever I attain also is going to be limited. So anything that is attained, including Brahmaloka also, is going to be limited. So krutena nasti, that uncreated, what is uncreated? Which is undying, imperishable, which is nitya, eternal, which is ever there, cannot be attained by karma, which is already there. See, with karma, meaning with effort, we can create something which is not there. Karma can do 4 kinds of things. You may have heard this. Karma or effort, we can do 4 kinds of things. Utpadyam, we can create something which is not, like sowing the seeds in the field and producing, creating the crops which are not there. That's one thing we can do with karma. Apyam, we can reach somewhere where we are not, like from your home, you can come to this place by karma. Vikarya means transforming one thing into other, like transforming milk into curd also requires certain kind of karma, transforming from one state to the other. Like you take a lump of gold and transform that into ornaments. And samskaryam, purification, purifying. If you have a copper pot, this copper's nature is that as it comes in contact with this atmospheric air, its surface gets oxidized, and soon you find all kinds of spots on that surface of the copper pot. So what do? You take some turmeric, some salt, and rub on that, all that oxidation goes away, and this copper pot starts shining like it is gold. That's what they need to do for all this puja, etc. Every day you do. But every day you should, because next day again it happens. So what? Same oxidation comes back. So these are one of the 4 things we can do with karma. So you can see how much they all thought about everything. With an effort, what can you do? You can produce something which is not there. You can reach some place where you are not. You can become something that you are not. A poor person can become rich, or uneducated can become educated, etc. And you can purify something that is impure. But Atma does not allow any of these things. He's already there. You don't have to produce Atma, self is already there. You don't have to reach some place where your own self, therefore, you don't have to reach Atma. It's ever pure, so you don't have to purify it. And it is changeless, so you can't change it. So whatever a karma can do, it can have no effect or application as far as the self is concerned. Then what is to be done? It's already there, has to be just discovered, known. What separates me from myself is ignorance. All the insight comes in the mind. Only when you discover this, that is when knowledge becomes important. A time should come in our life when we realize that the only problem we have is one of ignorance. Only problem we have in our life is the problem of sadness. Poverty is also not problem, theoretically. Or even hunger or nothing is a problem for human being. What is the problem? Sadness is a problem. And all along what we are struggling or striving to do is to become free from the sadness that we feel in one way or the other. I feel isolated, I feel excluded, I feel failure, I feel frustrated, I feel incapable. Variety of things I feel about myself which makes me sad. Last night we spent about 1 hour in exploring how I always have a perception of myself. And my perception of myself is that I am a limited being, a lacking, wanting being. In fact, that lack or want about myself makes me unhappy with myself. So sadness comes when I am unhappy with myself. No, but Swamiji, what about other fellows? They also have perception about you. And they also treat you in certain ways. They insult you, they humiliate you. How about that? Theoretically, nothing need to make me unhappy. Nothing that is outside has to make me unhappy, and I allow it to make me unhappy. When do I become unhappy? When I am unhappy with myself. When is that? When I do not live up to my own expectation of myself. What is my expectation? That I must be right, I must be good, I must be perfect. I must be honest, I must be kind, I must be compassionate, I must be loving. That's my expectation of myself. When I find myself cruel, angry, greedy, selfish, I'm not happy with myself. If you can somehow create in me a feeling that you are selfish, suppose by your behavior, you can make me see that, Swami, you are selfish. Do you realize that? If I realize that, I become unhappy. Not because of what you say, because of how I feel about myself. Meaning what you do, you just trigger something. The potential of my being unhappy with myself is always there. That self-dissatisfaction, self-rejection is always there. And you just push a button. If that is not there, you can push whatever button you want. The point is that it is not somebody else or someone else that makes me unhappy. It is my own perception of myself that makes me unhappy. It is wrong perception, born of ignorance. So someday all Vedantic students have to realize at least one thing, if nothing else. What is that? That is, the only problem in my life is one of self-ignorance. There is no other problem. I don't have a job. That need not be a problem. One need not be miserable for any reason. But Swami, you will feel miserable, is it not so? You don't have a job. I am laid off. Depends on how you interpret that. I'm laid off, meaning that I am no good. If that is my interpretation, that act of laying off has touched a button in me because I normally keep on criticizing myself anyway. I'm the worst critic of myself. I keep on finding fault with myself. I don't need the world to do that. We can pour butter into the fire, that they will do. What the world does is, it pours salt into the wound. The wound is already there. My criticizing myself, not liking myself, rejecting myself, looking down upon myself, low self-esteem. And what the world does is, pours the salt on that wound. So then I hold them responsible, because you pour the salt. But it is wound that is paining, not the salt. Salt makes it perhaps, worse. But if there is no wound, then salt doesn't matter. Is it not? What can the world do is to pour the salt. But this wound, if you don't have, there is no problem. That's where Vedanta says, you remove that wound. Then the world can pour whatever salt and butter, whatever they want to pour. There's fire, then the butter will make the fire, strong. So this is Vedanta's solution for every situation in life. Number one, that the only problem I have is the fact that I do not know truly what I am. That I, being a self-conscious being, always have a perception of myself which is a distorted perception. Ignorance is a problem and knowledge is a solution. Tad vijnanartham. Then he goes for knowledge. And then alone that Upadesha also works. If knowledge is our only priority that we have, then it all works very well. I'm sure everybody has a priority, knowledge, but that may not be the most important thing. It has importance, I'm sure, otherwise nobody will be here. And the extent to which the knowledge is important, to that extent certainly helps me. But here is a person for whom the only thing he wants is, he recognizes, the only thing that deprives me of what I am seeking is ignorance. Tad vijnanatham sah gurumeva abhigachet. For gaining that knowledge, he should necessarily go to a teacher. So I was pointing out that third line, tad vijnanartham sah gurum eva abhigachet. Eva means necessarily. Eva means definitely, for sure. Gurum eva abhigachet. For sure, necessarily you should go to a teacher. That's what the text says. For that knowledge, which knowledge? For self-knowledge, he must necessarily go to a teacher. Swami, that is how all these people, they perpetuate the Gurudom. Guru says you must go to the Guru. So when the Upanishad says, then we always quote, look, this is what the Upanishad says, so you have to come to us. How will the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam run? Only a few people come here. So you must necessarily go to a teacher. Evakara can be connected with Saha eva gurum abhigachet, Saha gurum eva abhigachet, so gurum abhigachet eva, meaning that he alone should go to teacher, not somebody else. Very often we go to teacher and then teacher is all ready to shower his Brahma Vidya and I, but Swami, do you know astrology? Can you read palms? That guru might he might faint listening to this. These gurus are very kind, so he knows, all right, this is your problem, so he will he'll prepare your chart and look at the chart and this is what you should do then. But, well, that is that's the guru's kindness. Oh, you need a job, all right, he calls somebody and helps you in that. Oh, you are looking for matrimonial alliance, and These gurus do everything, That is all right. But primarily role that a guru plays, as far as the word guru reveals, is dispel the darkness of ignorance. By doing this, he prepares a disciple for someday for knowledge, But why do you insist that I should go to a guru? Why can I not get this knowledge myself? I am quite capable of learning. I know Sanskrit. I know the language very well. I know Tarka, means I know the reasoning. I have knowledge of all branches of Veda. And so I am quite capable of studying the Upanishads myself, and I can get the knowledge. Why not? Why do they insist that you should go to a guru? So here, Adi Shankaracharya makes a very interesting remark. Shastrajñopi, even if a person is well versed with scriptures, meaning he knows the language, knows reasoning, knows tarka, knows mimamsa, etc. Atmajnana anveshanam shastrajñopi na kuryat. He should not indulge into the investigation into the self. For that he must go to a teacher. So there is another teacher saying that. What is so different about this knowledge that they insist that we should go to a teacher? Because the subject matter of this knowledge is myself. Oh, that should be easy, Swamiji. To know myself should be very easy, is it not so? Most amazing. To know myself is the most difficult thing. Because I think that I already know myself. You please tell me, when will it be that the 10th man will discover himself? I don't need any result, I'll find him. He's already convinced that the 10th man is not the 10th man is lost, and therefore, because of that conviction, he's always searching for the 10th man, is it not so? So I'm convinced that I am a jiva, I am a limited being. I am a lacking, wanting being, I am a helpless creature. I am very sure about it. So I have to do something in order to become free. I am bound. I have to do something to become free. As I am unhappy, I must do something to become happy. I am convinced about this. That's how I spend the whole of my life, not this life. From the time beginningless, I have been doing that. And nothing that can happen in my life will change that conviction, that wrong conviction that I have, that I am unhappy by nature, I have to become happy. What will happen in life by which that will change? Nothing will happen. Meaning that any amount of experience in life cannot change that conviction, wrong conviction on my part that I am unhappy by nature and happiness is out there. I am convinced about it. I am born with ignorance of myself as well as of the world. So I superimpose that unhappiness upon myself. Where happiness is there, I superimpose happiness where it is not there. This is called Maya. And so now you are on the roller coaster. I am convinced that I am not happy as I am. I am convinced that what I am seeking is out there. That's all you need. The 10th man is convinced that I am not the 10th man, and 10th man is lost, and I have to find him. Now, he keeps on searching. He doesn't find him. Does he ever think that I think my conviction, maybe my conclusion is wrong? No, he thinks that he must be somewhere else. And then somebody comes and obliges me. Hey, did you see somebody of this? Yes, I saw him somewhere. So then I behind the hill and in the temple and above the tree somewhere, they keep on telling you, and you go from one place to the other because you think that he's going to some place. In life also thus we keep on going from pillar to post, thinking that what I'm searching for will be found there. Because I think that I already know myself, that's the problem. I never realize that I'm ignorant of myself. Would ever anybody think that I am ignorant of myself? That thought will never come to me. A teacher points out to me that, hey, the problem is self-ignorance. And I already have so many opinions about myself, complexes about myself, and I don't know that they're all wrong. Somebody should point out that the conclusion you have about yourself is all wrong. You are not what you take yourself to be. You are not a samsari. You are not a bound, helpless creature. You are not. You are not a limit. What do you mean, so I am not limited? I am limited in every way. How do you say I am not limited? How do you say limited? Well, I am limited in time. I was born, I am going to die. Who was born? I was born. You were born? Did you see your birth? I am going to die. Are you going to see your death? It's interesting, nobody can see their birth, To witness the birth, to witness anything, you must be present before the event. To witness my own birth, I must be present before my birth. Is it possible? To witness my death, I must be after the death, because you must be before the event and after. I can't give my own death certificate, can I? I can't give my own birth certificate. So we go to pillar post in India getting birth certificate and death certificate, big problem. If I could give it, that would be nice. I'm not competent to do that. Anyway, what I'm saying is that since the subject matter of this knowledge is myself, and since I have a number of conclusions about myself, and I'm convinced about who I am, I never doubt my conclusions. I doubt everything else in the world, but never doubt myself or my conclusion about myself. I never doubt. See, when you go to management school, they teach you, never take anybody's word for you, always question everything. These days they always ask you to question. Never believe anybody. That fellow never says you question your own conclusion. That they never tell you. You question him. What he says, you question. Don't take it for granted. Don't believe anybody. First thing, the questioner. How about him or her? That we never question. That I'm a questioner, that is never a question, isn't it? That I need to know this, so then that is never a question. I'm entertaining so many complexes and conclusions of myself, which I think are right. I never question. They need to be questioned. That's what the teacher does. The teacher of Vedanta addresses every conclusion about ourselves. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi, he says that by this knowledge, all these granthis or complexes, all of the knots are all untied. Untying the knots. A complex is what? Knot is what? When two things are tied together. The self and non-self are tied together, untied. Anyway, that is why Gurumeva Vigachet, for this knowledge. From some other knowledge you can reinvent the wheel also. It's possible. That if you spend enough time like Newton, you can discover the law of gravity. Possible. You can reinvent the wheel. But we can never ever know ourselves because I think that I already know. Then how? If I know that I am ignorant, then alone I'll seek knowledge. If ignorant does not know that he is ignorant, then if fellow is sleeping, then you can wake him up. But one who is awake, he is sleeping but thinks that I am awake. How can you wake him up? Anyway, so tad vijnanartham sagurum eva vigachet. For the self-knowledge, one has to necessarily approach a teacher. And you better go to the teacher. Now is the time that you should go to the teacher. Don't wait. Meaning what? Meaning leave home. Nijgruhat turnam vinargam. Give up everything now. Give all your responsibilities, the engagements, all the commitments, everything give up. Now you have the freedom Because this knowledge becomes important to you, then everything now becomes of secondary importance. But he feels guilty. How can I give up my duty? The whole life he is, he's born and raised always to perform his duties. And when you then, every day if you are performing puja, somebody says, don't do the puja. Suppose you give up the puja, but then you feel guilty. Swami, I don't. He says, you give up all the puja, I gave it up, but I'm not happy. You feel guilty. So how can you, I have been performing duty towards my family, my parents, and you say, how can I go to teacher? Because those days, now you don't have to do that, by the way. This is told to the person in the Vedic times. Those days we had to go to Guru. Here Guru comes to us, so then it's a different matter. Not only Guru comes to us, but he invites us. Not only invites us, but gives us all kinds of, 5-star facilities. And make sure that you get good food. I don't know, this Guru is an amazing person, was an amazing person. No, you should give them all facilities. Nowhere in the world you will find in ashram this kind of facility. No, they should feel at home. They should get here what they are getting at home. All right? And they should get food better than what they get at their home. All right? All kinds of standards are set here for what? So that they come here. For what? Is it because you want to perpetuate institute that you want? No. They should come here because then only they will gain, they will learn, and then only there will be, there will be happiness in their life, not otherwise. So how can you reach out? How can you help? Why do you want to help? I can't help it. I can't help not helping, that's the thing. So today's setup is different. Those days setup was different, tough. Gurus don't come to you to go there, and they are someplace in forest, in the bank of the river, somewhere in the mountain caves. Meaning that you have to travel a long distance, you can't commute. Then in the morning I go and then I attend classes and come back, no way, it takes months to go there. You go means you go, not to come back, that is what that's going means. Guru avigachet. Reaching out to the teacher means that you have to snap your connection with everything else. With my family? With the society? Yes, you have to. What about my duties? You have now the permission to give up all your duties. Because now something else has become more important to you. The priorities have changed for this person. And therefore, he is given also the consent to now adopt a way of life which is now compatible to what he wants. So when you want knowledge, then there is a way of life that is compatible for that knowledge. So far there was a way of life which was compatible with what you were doing. For knowledge, what's the way of compatible life? Become a renunciate. That is assumed here. He must go to a teacher. In the Vedic times, going to a teacher means leaving home. And leaving home means leaving all your connections and meaning that all your responsibilities and all your claims also. And there's no laptop and no cell phone and no stuff there. You don't take anything with you. It was not there those days anyway. Now here people come and ask, do you have Wi-Fi? The formerly were asking for air conditioner and stuff like that, which we provided. Now, do you have Wi-Fi? Why do you want Wi-Fi? Because they want to come here and then work from here. So you come to work here or you come to study or what is what? Yeah, we can do both. So that also they will provide. I mean, there are many places where you get nothing, none of these things. But here you ask for it, it is given to you. Wi-Fi. Meaning that we don't want to snap our connection, we want those connections intact. And then we want this also. Which is all right. In 21st century, everything is okay. But those days, all connections, in Swamiji's words, all boats are burned. Boat is burned means what? I didn't know what was he meant. But I guess boat is burned means what? You use the boat to cross and you burn it so you can't come back. I guess that's what was the meaning, isn't it? Why should you burn the boat? But that's what they say. All boats are burned. Meaning that you can't go back now. Here, all connections are snapped of all your responsibilities, all your duties, all your claims, everything is snapped. That's called life of renunciation. In Vedanta, it's called Vividishasa, a kind of a sannyasa. Vividisha sannyasa, the life of renunciation that one has adopted for Vividisha, for gaining the knowledge. So now the priority that this person has is for gaining the knowledge. So Gurumeva abhigachet, therefore, seeking knowledge, he must necessarily approach a teacher. Abhigachet, approach the teacher. How to approach? Next verse is Samit Panihi. Samit. Samit means the fuel. Those dry twigs, when they perform a homa, then what they use for fuel is those dry twigs are used for fuel. It's called Samit. Even brahmacharis also, they are samidadhanam, meaning that they, brahmacharis also perform the homa, offering samid. So here the instruction is that samit panihi. Pani means hand. Samid means this fuel, or they call faggots, dry twigs. With a bunch of dry faggots or dry twigs in your hands, you should approach. Now, this fellow has given up everything, he doesn't have anything with him. So if you ask him to bring fruits, he doesn't know where to get them. So you ask him to get something which doesn't cost any money. As he is walking along the forest, he finds all those dry twigs either fallen down, so he collects them and makes a heap of them and offers at the feet of the teacher. Just symbolic. Because it is said that you should never go empty-handed. Rikta panina pashyeda rajanam devatam gurum. Says when you go to Rajanam, means go to a king. Devatam, go to a temple, devata. Or gurum, go to a guru. Rikta pani, you should not go empty-handed. I'm not telling you that, I'm just repeating what he said here. So don't keep on bringing all samhita, etc., but symbolically. So, a gift is just symbolic. What he offers outwardly just is some dry twigs, which he has picked up on the way. But that is symbolic of offering himself at his feet of the teacher. So this is described by Lord Krishna in a little more elaborate way. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Upadekshindite jnanam jnaninha tattvadarshina. Lord Krishna says that when you approach a wise person in an appropriate manner. So manner has two aspects. One is a form, other is a spirit. So form is described. Form is described in that verse. Tadvidhi pranipatena. When you approach this master, the teacher, pranipata, dirgha namaskara, long prostration, you fall at his feet. Because dandavat, like a danda, like a stick, like a staff. You know something? The interesting thing is, if you're standing, then if the sun is shining, you're standing, then you're a long shadow, you know. What will length of shadow when you fall? Like a staff. What will length of the shadow? Will there be any shadow? No shadow. Shadow, if it stands for ahankara, you're standing like that. Stiff. Long shadow means what? Shows also ahankara. So symbolically, falling flat at the feet of a teacher is surrendering your ahankara. Thus this prostration is symbolic of surrender to the teacher. There's another problem now. This Gurudom is one thing, now surrendering is another thing. I don't surrender to anybody. So surrender also is a spirit, it's not an action. You can very well fall at somebody's feet and not surrender at all in your mind. Possible. Lord Krishna also is afraid that the instruction may be perhaps followed in this way, that somebody can do that without meaning what that symbol means. So later on in that chapter itself, Lord Krishna says, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Shraddhavan. That gesture of long prostration stands for Shraddha. Stands for Shraddha, or the implicit faith that this aspirant is God for the teacher. But somehow I don't feel that. I don't feel Shraddha, I don't feel like that. Then you have to work on yourself until you feel that way. It is true. Sometimes love happens at first sight. Love with the teacher also means with anybody. It can happen at the first sight. Sometimes it may take some time, more time, long time. So Lord Krishna, allow yourself, create for yourself an opportunity for the Shraddha to arise from you. We want to check out. Before we surrender to anybody, we have to check out. Is it not so? And you better check out. We should not blindly surrender to anybody. Check out meaning whether that person deserves my surrendering. Is it trustworthy or not? We can only surrender to somebody who is trustworthy. And you surrender only if the person is capable of helping you in as whatever needs are there. Otherwise, no point in surrendering. A beggar cannot surrender to a beggar. What do you get out of that? You surrender to someone who has the capability of helping you, protecting you, guiding you. It's trustworthy, because if you surrender to anybody who is not the right person, you can be exploited. The surrender business has also hurt many people. If it is not done intelligent, not done properly. So that is why Lord Krishna adds there, Paripsevaya. You approach the teacher and serve the teacher, meaning that spend some time with the teacher. Not as a friend. How are you, sir? Sevaya. As a sevak, meaning as the one who serves the teacher. So may you approach the teacher in the spirit of surrender and discover in course of time the fact that the person to whom I am surrendering is a worthy person. Even if the person is worthy, still I should also discover for myself a disciple. Our Swami used to say that when Arjuna said, Shishyasteham shadiman tvam prapannam, he said to Lord Krishna, Shishyasteham, I am your disciple. Tvam prapannam, I am surrendered to you. Shadimam, please teach me. Now, In fact, Lord Arjuna and Lord Krishna were bosom friends for a long time. But it's today that Arjuna discovered a teacher in Lord Krishna and discovered a disciple in himself. Then only, now the relationship changed. He was always surrendered, he always had great devotion for Lord Krishna. But then teacher-disciple relationship really got established here. So that kind of relationship should get established. When I'm listening to Vedanta, then who am I? I am a disciple listening to a teacher. Shishya. Shishya means what? Shiksha yogya. One who is fit for being taught. Or one who is fit for being disciplined also. Shiksha. In those days, teachers would discipline them also. Today, these days, we don't do that. But those days, teachers would discipline the disciples also, if need be. But at least shishya shiksha yogya hai, one who is fit to be taught. So thus this relationship should take place between two persons, one of the teacher and disciple. I should discover in myself a shishya, discovering him the teacher. And that may not happen right away. Then I must allow some time. Sevaya. How do I do that? By staying with the teacher, serving the teacher. Meaning caring for the teacher, providing, doing whatever I can do. That also gives you an opportunity to observe the person at close quarters, Whether he is walking the talk or not. Talking is one thing, walking is a different thing, isn't it? So I have an opportunity to see whether there is a walk and talk, they are in harmony or not. You should. But seva means serving the teacher. And serving used to be only at the physical level, because how else? These days we can serve and we can give donation and we can do different things. That's a way of serving. But this person, the only way of serving was to do all the chores for the teacher. So they spend time with the teacher. In the olden days, teachers were not too anxious to pour here you go, he just starts with his lecture. Whether you are ready or not, or whether you want it or not. But those days, the teacher will actually also, both ways testing takes place. Here checking out the guru and he's checking out the disciple also. So there are incidents where described in the Upanishads also where the aspirants went to a teacher with confidence that he knows and he'll be able to tell us what we want to know. The teacher says, stay here for 1 year. Not stay means what? Not 5-star hotel, stay here. Life of Shraddha, Brahmacharya, Seva means life of austerity, service. I'm nothing against 5-star, I'm just, but I'm just describing what used to be the case that time. Stay for 1 year, live the life of austerity, service to the teacher, Shraddha, Bhakti, devotion. At the end of the year, you ask me the question that you have, and if I know the answers, I'll give you. Meaning that this kind of a relationship should also be established for the disciple to benefit from the instruction of the teacher. It's not just as one is giving lecture and other one is hearing. That is there, of course, setup is there. But then there is also a certain emotional bond established there, where the teacher has been able to invoke a confidence, invoke the love and devotion from the disciple. And disciple also invokes something from the teacher. Teacher sees he is a sincere person who wants to know, and therefore he is also equally pleased to share the knowledge. Tad vijnanartham saha gurumeva abhigachet. For this knowledge, this aspirant must necessarily approach a teacher. Samit Pani, with faggots in his hand. The rest will conclude in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Now we have the Aarti, then there will be dinner, and then we assemble again here at 8 o'clock. And there the schedule says that what does it say? Donors' views. It seems that these people who made this schedule expect something from you, the donors. So whatever it is that was expected, what is the donor's views? I don't know, I'll have to ask him. But then again, apparently donors must have some views, I guess, or what feelings they have, what it is that they have, and so that is what I think they want to know. So prepare something for the 8 o'clock session. And if you're done with your views and the time permits, then we will answer some questions. Satsang will be there. But otherwise, you have all the time to express your views. Well, you can provide some insight, some guidance, something or the other to the Gurukulam. So let us see. So 8 o'clock will be that session. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, there are index cards there, you can write those questions. We'll keep them on the side. If time permits, we'll address them. Pardon me? Next class? No, next class tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, yeah, but we will see if views are remaining to be, otherwise it will be class. So tomorrow apparently happens to be a weekend class, meaning that we have to take, so you have 2 more classes of course from 10 to 12:30 in Bhagavad Gita. Plus as far as this topic is concerned, we squeezed out 1 hour from 8 to 9, so we have to sacrifice the meditation class so that you can have breakfast first. And 8 to 9 we'll have the continuity of this class, conclude, and then 10 o'clock to 12:30 we'll have the other class that we normally have over the weekend. That's the 2nd chapter of Gita we are doing, Karma Yoga, that section we are doing. So let us say next class will be 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.